We'll leave the green room, put the microphone on, put the makeup on. He is Dr. Michael Lim, cardiologist with SLU Care and SSM SLU Hospital. Good morning and Happy New Year, Dr. Michael Lim.
Good morning. Fact check, though.
Yes.
Illini host Michigan. Jimmy got his Champaign Urbana in Ann Arbor a little bit backwards.
You need to learn something here. You need to learn something here.
Michigan.
That if Jimmy Holder says it, it's true.
It was true. They're playing each other. Absolutely 100% true.
No. You don't understand. That's the fact that he only got one thing wrong in that sportscast. That's a positive.
That's not wrong.
No. There you go. All right, let's get to it. I've heard flu. The flu season's hitting us worse than normal.
If we are in the throes of a bad flu season, there's no doubt. Even though it's 60 degrees out, 68 yesterday, flu season started about Christmas time.
Right.
And there are a lot of cases across the country, a lot of cases across Missouri and St. Louis, and people are filling our hospostals.
Are some of these people, have they gotten the shot and still getting it? Or?
Well, here's the deal and why I think it's important to bring this up. The shot isn't necessarily, something that everybody should quote unquote get. They kind of focus on the high risk folks, but what they've learned in this flu season is that the strains of flu they chose for their flu vaccine actually they got it right. And so because this flu season's bad, it's not too late if you have not gotten a flu shot to still get one and protect yourself over the next few weeks and maybe up to 2 months of what our bad flu season will be this winter.
Some people think a cold is a flu. And so there's a big difference. When we say flu is a very specific problem.
Flu is something that's technically caused by the influenza vaccine, hence the short term of flu, or the influenza virus. The vaccine vaccinates against that virus, but there's many different strains. There's not just one kind.
Right.
And so a cold can be caused by many other different viruses. Oftentimes a cold in terms of stuffy nose and that type of thing is caused by a different kind of virus, a different family called the rhinovirus. It's like the Millhavens and the Jacksons. They're just different, right? They hang out together, but they act differently, work different hours.
The Jacksons don't like to associate with the Millhavens.
Well, yeah,
we're the riffraff.
Those are personal issues.
All right, but so the bottom line is this: it's a bad flu season. You still have time to get the flu shot.
Absolutely, and it will be effective on this year's flu that's going around.
All right, good. All right, let's talk about this other story, Prevagen, which just what happened? This is sort of big news here.
Well, Prevagen is one of many dietary supplements that are currently out on the market, and the Federal Trade Commission basically went after the company saying they're making false claims. They're claiming that taking of this supplement dramatically improves memory. And there's no scientific proof that says that this exists. And so this is where the riff comes from.
So they told Prevagen to stop selling it, right?
They did.
Yeah. Now, there are things like garlic that they say helps boost your memory. Why is garlic allowed to continue, but Prevagen gets dinged like this?
Well, this is a very complicated but important issue. There's two different areas or two different levels, if you will, if we can oversimplify it. One is a drug or a medication that I would write you a prescription for to do X. A company that wanted to produce that drug and get that approved has to go through rigorous and multiple studies to prove A, that it's safe, and then has to actually come up with the concept of a study which proves that it is better than the alternative. In some instances, that's a placebo or nothing. In other instances, that's the best available treatment right now. Supplements do not have that high of a bar to go through. Supplements just have to prove that they are reasonably safe. They do not have to prove they're efficacious. Where the problem comes in terms of things like garlic and other supplements is the wording with respect to what their claim is that they do. when they use words like may or possible or those types of things, they cover themselves.
Right.
When they say it boosts memory, that's pretty definitive. And that claim is presuming that it's supported by some kind of scientific data.
Millions have purchased this Prevagen, have they not?
It's not cheap either.
Yeah.
It's a fairly pricey thing, which goes to show, I think, a different issue, and that is there is a big concern, and there are a lot of people that have memory loss issues, don't want to have memory loss issues. They've seen family members with Alzheimer's and development of dementia. It's a terrible syndrome. It's a terrible thing to have a family member have, and so you reach for straws.
Right.
You try to do anything possible, and so I don't necessarily blame anybody who wanted to try it.
Right.
But the bottom line with respect to does it work or not is there's actually no proof that it does.
The Federal Trade Commission claimed that the company claimed it with fraud for selling glowing jellyfish protein as a memory booster. So there you go, Prevagen. The FDA says no go. All right, Doctor, thanks for coming in. Good stuff today.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
Be well.
Did you get a flu shot?
I did. So healthcare workers are required. So I actually couldn't continue to hold my privileges in the hospital to be a physician without getting a flu shot.
Is that a law or is that a guideline or?
Well, it's every individual hospital has the ability to make its independent rules on what the appropriate way to sort of cover their staff.
Gotcha.
And so our hospital, and our hospital is not unique. I believe this exists in pretty much every hospital around. Physicians and healthcare workers are required to get flu shots unless you can opt out. So if you have an allergy to an egg,
right,
which is there's some egg proteins within the flu vaccine. If you have a known reaction to this, or there's sort of a conscientious objector opt out too, where you say, well, I just kind of am morally opposed to this.
Right.
But very few people really have those kinds of issues. The majority of healthcare workers have all been vaccinated.
Yeah.
Which is good because our hospital is currently full of a bunch of people with flu.
With flu, yeah. So it hit it hard. That's why we get our flu shots. And we should say that our dear friend, John Beaver, who the studio is named after, got the flu shot, got the flu, and then ultimately died after complications of the flu. It took him a long time, but it was a very sad thing to see. And he's, we named the studio after him, but that's why we take the flu shot pretty seriously around here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dr. Michael Lim, thanks for coming in.
Be well.
Thanks, Doc.